Hi, I'm back again, and so soon, because I wanted to make some little changes to how I record. As you can see, I don't have a voice mic now. I have a SM57 like I did before, and I have a condenser microphone outside of the frame, quite near the camera. And I'm planning of using audio from the camera and maybe from the secondary camera, and also the room mic, and of course the SM57, to hopefully get a more balanced sound. I also did some tweaking. I used to run the crunch channel, but I noticed that I have perhaps too much gain going on for my own good. So now I'm running the clean channel of the Marshall with my pedals providing me all of the distortion. Yeah. So last time I was talking about this Telecaster that I used to play all of these different styles in. After high school I joined two bands. One was a Faith No More cover band, and another one was a band where we played Immortal covers mainly, some other stuff too, but those styles ended up being little too challenging for my tele, so I acquired a more heavy metal suited instrument. And this used to be an Ibanez RG570EX, I think, with an HSH configuration, but I modded it to ruins since, trying to catch some sounds with it that weren't really available here, but maybe that's already digressing a little bit too much. So first let's try some Faith No More sounds. Let's do a little distortion and see how it goes. seems quite well suited for that. We did some gigs around Finland, some youth club gigs in my home county, and we participated in some band contests and stuff like that. Played a few random gigs here and there. I think one of the biggest ones was in Suomussalmen Rock, our home county, an open air festival of sorts with many bands, with one major band and rest of the bands local, and we were kind of the biggest of the local bands, I guess. And the other band that I mentioned was playing Immortal covers. So let's do some of that for fun. Actually, the first thing we tried was, I think, this one. It might be best if I don't play the whole song. It's like something like 8 minutes long. We did many of the other songs also in the same record. We did joining those two bands, it was really beneficial for my, let's say, musical education, if you will. I'm mostly self-taught, but I had been using a lot of tablature for learning all of the songs that I did. But the problem with both of those bands is that there weren't a whole lot of tabs in the internet. There were quite a few Immortal tabs available, but the quality of those was really low. I don't know, most of the guys who wanted to play that stuff, I guess, didn't know much more theory than power chords. But like, let's say, the thing I just played, like... It's not based on power chords. Like if you would play it with power chords, it would be something like... Something like that. It's pretty hard riff to do, but they actually do... I think we used to call them inverted power chords, even though it has nothing to do with reality, but the shape how you put your fingers is kind of inverted. Like if a normal power chord would be like, you put your fingers the other way around, the 7th fret is now the A string instead of the D string. Benefit in that, I think the way they used it in Immortal's music especially, and other kinds of black metal, is that while power chords have this kind of interesting quality that they are a bit ambiguous in what the tonality is or what the chord is supposed to be like. You're not quite certain is it a major or a minor chord, and when they are using some stuff like harmonic minor keys, it isn't really rooted in the normal tonalities, but the way they used double stops in Immortal riffs, it clearly is doing part of a chord, part of a 3-note chord, and it makes it more, the harmony is a little bit more clear what's it doing. It's a little bit more melodic, which might sound a little strange, but if you think about riffs like... It's a little bit more clear what they're doing or what they're going for. And I guess one of the reasons that they did that was also because they had only one bass player, one guitar player and drums, and that's it. So they needed to kind of fill the space with a lot of things. They did use a lot of power chords as well, like for instance in Triumph. Let's see if I can still do it after all these years. a couple tunnels, I guess. But well, in all seriousness, that's maybe like in the beginning when you're starting to do a lot of tremolo picking, you're like it can get a little bit taxing, but once you get the hang of it, you can get a lot of feedback from or a lot of bounce back from the string, and it isn't as hard as it looks or feels in the beginning. Now, playing those stuff was a lot of fun. We also tried to do some Emperor stuff. We never got quite the hang of it. That song actually has a really cool midsection. Let's see if I can pull it off, like something like this. Well, some of it doing that. The Isan is playing something like no, not that one. Yeah, that's the one. So that's a lot of fun to play, especially with the other riff going on behind it. It's like a contrapunct or counter melody, if you will. We did play maybe the intro to Curse You All Men. That's a little bit difficult, and Isan is singing in the same time too, so yeah, I think it's perhaps time to move on from those times, because this is starting to get a little bit long for a video. Yeah, after those bands broke up, I moved to Kajaani, and I started looking for a group that would play some kind of southern rock style stuff, like Lynyrd Skynyrd, maybe some other classic rock stuff. And I did find one. It ended up being a little bit on the hard rock side, but I was mainly using this guitar there. Now I know what you're thinking. I had the Tele. Why I'm using this one? Well, I did use the Telecaster as well, but the other guitar player used a pretty hard gain sound or pretty distorted sound. So I kind of needed the beefier sound of the humbucker, or that's what I thought. I was constantly a little bit fighting with the gear that I had. Little did I know that I only needed maybe to tweak my gear a little bit, I think a little experience would have gone a long way instead of trying to fight what I had. We were doing like Lynyrd Skynyrd songs like swamp music and Blackfoot. With that song I was in a lot of trouble because that's Highway song by Blackfoot. It's kind of their Freebird, if you will. It has this ballad front and a really extended soloing period in the end that's always going faster and faster, and I really had to dig deep to survive those gigs where I had to play a really extended solo with not a lot of vocabulary. So I did a lot of this. So that's definitely one way to handle it. Like try to think of a motive and play that over and over again. They did that in Freebird and also in that solo. Yeah, Blackfoot has pretty cool riffs. If you don't know them, consider like Street Fighter. Pretty cool song. Yeah, so like I said, I used this for most of the gigs. I did play some of those maybe cleaner songs with the Telecaster, but this was my main axe for a long time. You can see some wear and tear here and there. This has seen, I think I've played most of my gigs with this axe actually, and I never kind of used to like it. It always felt that there's something missing, the soul of this guitar is missing. But for some reason, some strange reason, it's feeling like it's starting to develop a soul of its own. Maybe it was always there, but I just didn't know it. Yeah, like you can get some really sweet hard rock tones just by using a boost. Oh, one thing I'd like to point out is that while I did have I did have an easy time playing that song with the telly, with the hardtail. This has a floating trem, and the solo has a lot of double stops, and if you don't know what happens with a floating trem, this is what happens. Let's check this out. So that solo begins with a, and the first part is like these two notes, and you bend the lower one. But check what happens to the higher note if I play just that and bend the lower. It goes way flat. And what you have to do is like adjust your bend for the higher note as well, like. Otherwise you get a little bit out of tune effect, like. It's subtle, but it sounds so much sweeter if you do the bend, like, and you get it to stay in tune. That's much better. So. I forgot how it goes. Yeah, stuff like that. And I guess that's about it. Maybe I'll. No, nothing more to add. I'm still getting used to talking to the camera, stuff like that. Okay, I think that's enough for this time. Let's see, it's been over half an hour, so quite long. Perhaps I'll cut some parts off. Yeah, if you managed to watch so far, thanks again. And I hope the audio ends up a little bit better this time. Yeah. Bye bye.